Good afternoon. All right. I'm so excited to be here. My name is Arun Ulag. I run the Power BI engineering team. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to spend the next 75 minutes together. We're going to talk about where we are with Power BI. We're going to talk about where we're going. You're going to see some amazing demos of stuff that we have already shipped, as well as stuff that we're working on. So let's get started. How many of you guys already use Power BI today? All right, that's pretty much everybody in the audience. But in case you don't know what Power BI is, Power BI is about making sure you can connect to data pretty much wherever it is, either on-premise or in the cloud. Bring data into exactly the shape you want and create amazing visualizations that are available pretty much in any device, right? But when I talk to customers about Power BI, the thing that gets them most excited is the opportunity for them to drive a data culture, where every employee in the organization can make better decisions based on data, where facts replace opinions, what you know matters more than who you know. Right? And since we started with Power BI more than 4 years ago, we've had a pretty successful formula. And if you think about the tenets of the formula, these are the 5 principles that I would call out. The first is Power BI is a single global cloud service, right? That means by design, there aren't any silos. So even when people participate in Power BI, even if the only separations are the separations that are driven by permissions. However, as an IT administrator, when you govern and manage Power BI, you have a single global view of everything that's going on. Right. The second thing that we focused on is making sure that we can drive a frictionless experience. So making sure that every single user can sign up to Power BI within seconds and get real business value in minutes. So we talk about this as a 5x5 experience, 5 seconds to sign up, 5 minutes to wow. The third area that has really worked out well for us is even though Power BI is relatively new to the BI market, with only being our 4th year, it's built on more than 2 decades of innovation in the BI space by Microsoft. So my team also builds SQL Server analysis services, SQL Server reporting services, and Azure analysis services. So as we've grown and matured Power BI, we've been able to take a lot of the capabilities in analysis services and reporting services and bring them natively into Power BI, creating a highly scalable enterprise solution. The fourth, as you guys know, is we really focus on making sure that we get innovation rapidly in the hands of our customers. So since pretty much we started Power BI, we've been shipping a new release of Power BI Desktop every single month, and new capabilities in the Power BI service every single week. And this means that our Power BI customers are excited about what's coming because they can know that some of the capabilities they're waiting for are will be delivered relatively soon. And the last one is disruptive economics. And when we started off with Power BI, we really wanted to make sure that we can get Power BI in the hands of every single employee. So a model in which we made Power BI Desktop completely free, not in a limited way, not in a limited period of time, but completely free was really important because it allowed everybody to kind of understand what Power BI can do for them. We priced the Power BI service, Power BI Pro, at just $10 per user per month so that you can actually get in the hands of every single employee. And for large enterprise deployments, when you use Power BI Premium, we see customers often having 1,000, 1,500 users on a single Power BI Premium node, which starts at, with 8 cores, about $5,000, which means that the price of Power BI on a per user basis is about $3 to $4 per user per month, which means that you can actually afford to get Power BI across your whole enterprise, right? So these are some of the principles that we've really focused on from Power BI from day one. Right. One of the things that we're very, very grateful for is the enormous support and participation of the Power BI community. So the Power BI communities are spread around the world. We just crossed over 1 million members of the Power BI community. We have over 250 user groups around the world. And what's really exciting for me personally is how deeply the Power BI community engages with the product team and engineering on a daily basis. So how many of you guys have used ideas.powerbi.com? All right, that's awesome. So we really take your ideas very, very seriously. Customers have come up with more than 22,000 ideas that they want us to work on, and they've voted more than 500,000 times. And the capabilities that we have shipped cover over 200,000 of the customer votes on ideas.powerbi.com. So my team and I, we look at the features that you guys ask for pretty much on a weekly basis to make sure that we prioritize what matters to our customers. And this cycle is really, really working, because if you think about the innovation that we have delivered in the first 6 months of the last 12-month period, you can see that it really, really is stunning, the number of capabilities that we've been delivering, and they're really focused on what you guys have been asking for. So I'm not going to go through this bullet by bullet, but you can see there's a volume of innovation, there's a pace of innovation entirely focused on what our customers ask of us. And if I look at the last 6 months, again, you see massive innovation, really, really focused on customer-focused outcomes. right? And all of this come together has really resulted in a service that is growing very, very quickly. What you see here is the monthly active usage chart for the Power BI service. So these are the people who use Power BI on a monthly basis. And you can see what the growth chart looks like. It is, an exponential curve. And even in the months of December, that's when, the holiday season, that's when you see the small dips along the way. And even in those cases, you see most of the Power BI customers end up still coming back to Power BI. And we're very, very grateful for the level of support we have, because this usage has translated into massive growth across the industry. So today, Power BI is used pretty much in every industry, pretty much in every geography. Power BI today is actually used by more than 97% of the Fortune 500. So we're very grateful for the level of adoption. We're very grateful for the enterprise customers that have made a big bet on Power BI. Power BI today is used by more than over 200,000 customers, so it is really, really used extensively around the world. And this recognition is something that the analysts call out as well. So if you look at the Gartner Magic Quadrant, which came out in February, it shows Power BI being the clear leader on both axes. And I'm not sure if you guys have seen the Forrester Wave, but the Forrester Wave just came out a couple of months ago, and Forrester also called out Microsoft Power BI as being the clear leader in this space. Right? So when I talk about, I talked about driving a data culture, and what I wanted to talk about for a few minutes is the areas that we are innovating and the areas of investment for us as we help our customers drive a data culture in their organizations. So the first is it starts with amazing experiences. And these are the experiences that help you explore your data, understand your data, data that may be in large volumes. And here we're really focused on two things. One, making sure that Power BI is really, really easy to learn. And we're making sure that we use a lot of the capabilities in Power BI that are modeled after experiences in Office, so that those users who use PowerPoint, who use Excel, feel instantly at home in Power BI, and they can get very, very productive very quickly. However, it's also very powerful because we've taken a lot of the AI innovation, a lot of the capabilities that Microsoft has built in our AI teams over the last decade or so, and baked them into Power BI so we can use the power of these technologies to create compelling analytics experiences. So that's the first area we're investing in. The second area we're investing in is modern enterprise BI. And this is about making sure that Power BI can handle the most demanding enterprise BI needs. And here we have a bit of an advantage because, as I mentioned before, we are taking a lot of our technologies and analysis services and reporting services and baking them into Power BI so our customers can have a single integrated BI platform without any silos, without any fragmentation. And the third area that we're investing in is one that I'm very, very excited about. We're really focusing on making sure that now, we can weave BI deep into the fabric of the organization. So when every single employee gets access, it becomes part of the fabric on the way the company works, right? And it starts with trust. So in Power BI, we're focused on making sure it's fully open at the data level, at the semantic model level, at the visualization layer. We're focused on making sure that you have the best security and data protection. We're also focusing on accessibility so that everybody can use Power BI regardless of their physical abilities. We're focusing on making sure that we deeply integrate with the Azure data stack. So while Power BI can work with data pretty much anywhere, if you do use Power BI with the Azure data stack, you get compelling experiences where we do a lot of the heavy lifting for you. So you guys probably saw the announcement around Azure Synapse Analytics. You'll see a demo on that in this session as well. The third area we're investing in is to make sure that you can take these insights and infuse them across all of your productivity experiences. So whether you're in Excel or whether you're in PowerPoint or you're in any of your Office experiences, we want to make sure that you can get those insights wherever you are. And the fourth area is where we're really trying to make sure that between Power BI, Power Apps, Power Automate, and Power Virtual Agents, the Power Platform family, you can move from insight to action to automation in a way that is seamless and integrated. So the insights are something that not just inform your decisions, but they actually go ahead and drive specific outcomes. So one of the customers that we've been working with very closely on this journey is BP. And I wanted to invite Tim DePledge, who's the Transformation Manager for Business Intelligence at BP, to join me on stage and talk about how BP is using Power BI. Tim. Please welcome Tim. Thanks so much for joining me, Tim.
Good to see you, Evan.
Can you share a little bit about your role in BP and what is it that you and your team does?
Yeah, sure. So BP is one of the world's largest energy businesses. We operate in just over nearly about 80 countries, more than 70,000 employees. We find and explore oil and gas, and we refine products and turn them into fuels and also other products. We have a big trading business. We also have an opportunity to involve in alternative energy. So we have a biofuels business in Brazil, and we also have a big wind business here in the US. What that basically does is enables us to sort of grow and meet the growing needs of the world's energy, and also dealing with the low carbon transition as well. One of the things that's massive for us is a big transformation agenda, and literally we're changing the way the company works. And that's where I get involved. One of the things that we've done is we've established the ability to look at our data and change the way we present and analyze it. And that's what we're using with Power BI, and that's what my team does.
That's awesome. So can you share a little bit more about your journey with Power BI, how you started, and where BP is right now in terms of usage and adoption?
Yeah, sure. So I actually began my journey with Power BI about 2 years ago. I was in that kind of process whereby I would go to work in the morning. I used to work in our corporate offices in St. James Square in London, and I'd have an Excel spreadsheet connected to another Excel spreadsheet, to a PowerPoint deck, be emailed by Outlook, and then about 2 hours before a presentation was due to be given, we'd end up in the position whereby someone wanted to change a number. So we had to find that version of the presentation. Where was it in Outlook? We found it, then it was into PowerPoint, and then we found that the image was an image of a number rather than an actual data point. And frankly, I was getting quite depressed. Sitting there, is this really what it's about? And I found Power BI. And literally, Power BI enabled us to deal with that. So I now lead a team. We've got 4 cities where my team works. It spans 10 time zones around the world. And we're building Power BI solutions that enables us to have integrated actions through Power Apps, SharePoint. Until yesterday, it was called Flow, but it's Microsoft Power Automate now. And what that does, that enables us to deliver products. And we couldn't do that without the involvement of our IT department. I mean, I'm an accountant. I was kind of like brought up dealing with numbers. And in BP, through that partnership with the IT department, we've got tens of thousands of users now using Power BI, and we're building those.
That's awesome. And you're part of that business department. You work closely with IT. Can you share a little bit about the dynamic between business and IT at BP?
Yeah, sure. So the type of things that I do to generate these reports, we also put the reports on the surface hubs of our global execs. And in order to work with to put those in, we can't do that without working with security. We can't do it without working with the business teams to help us using the data lineage views that we're now doing. We're doing dataset sharing. We're doing I've completely had a complete mental block now, but there we go.
Did you talk about data protection and yeah?
Yeah, and so we do that together with Dataflows, and we can't literally introduce the technology to do that without the IT department doing it and us building the business processes. So we do that, and that then enables us to put these reports out there. There's a gentleman, I don't know who's in the audience, his name's Stephen. He works in security. And I would phone them up and I'll say, can I just try this? Can I do this? And they're really good. But to be fair, things that you're announcing yesterday in terms of the security permissions that you're rolling out, that will really help us and probably make his life a bit easier as well.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. One of the areas that you and I have been working together on is some of the AI capabilities that we've brought into Power BI. So can you talk a little bit more about how BP is using some of our AI capabilities and what they enable for you? Yeah, sure. So we're really excited by those AI capabilities. We're working really close with Justina to be able to leverage things like the Decomposition Tree. Where we're going to go with this, and we're testing it at the moment, because we've got row-level security, on our reports, globally rolled out. We have someone in the business in Australia, an analyst, right up to the chief exec using the same report with row-level security. We can use the AI visual that Justina's built, and then each user will get a tailored view of that particular work and that particular thing, giving them a complete unique set of insights. And you have a situation where everybody, for certain reports, everybody from the most senior executives to the frontline person is actually looking at the same report, but the data is actually, they see only what they're supposed to see because you have row-level security implemented across the board. Yeah, absolutely. And it's so powerful. You no longer get this situation in a meeting. I don't recognize that number, because it's the same number that they've seen right the way through from the bottom, right the way up to the top. That's great. The last question I have for you is, you've also been a pioneer in using not just Power BI, but the other members of the Power Platform family. You've used Power Apps. You've been looking at using Power Automate as well. So can you share a little bit about how the Power Platform works for you? And I think you've done some interesting work with Teams as well. Yeah, so I'll be fair, I love Teams. So I mentioned earlier about our team itself is spanned across the world. So we use Teams to communicate on all of the time, every day.
But when we roll out a new product, if we have to send an email because we've not worked with this group in a team before, we can just put a link directly to the channel in the team. And that channel is then where we go forwards and backwards with all of the communications. If people have got problems or people have got questions, our team can respond directly in the channel. And so can then the users look to see whether has the question been asked beforehand. Also, then other people in the community can also put their responses back if they know the answer. And things like that, together with, I'm lucky to have a sneak preview of what Lucas is going to show later, how we can have those cards coming in to be able to put the Power BI piece in there. That's just fantastic. I mean, we've got cards now whereby we have a Power BI report, a Power App. We put commentary in the Power App integrated with the Power BI report. A user can then use Workflow to sign that using a Flow connector to send a Teams message to the business manager, and they can then go in and they can then approve it or not or send it back. So that type of integration has been fantastic. So yeah, with that, I said earlier, transformation, one of the things was it's about transforming how it feels. I'm on stage at a Microsoft Ignite conference, and I'm an accountant from London. It definitely feels a different place to be, and it's because of tools like this.
That's very, very helpful. Thank you so much for joining us, Tim, and I appreciate the partnership with BP.
Cheers, thank you.
All right, so we're going to go to the next section. I'm going to invite Amir Netz, who's our CTO. He's going to show you where we're going, and he's going to do some exciting demos. So thank you very much. Have a great Ignite.
Hey, everyone, thank you. Hello, everybody. It's so exciting to be here and talk to you and share with you where we're going with the product. Power BI is a massive product. We have so many capabilities, so much surface area that I want to kind of introduce to you to that framework that we have here, which is kind of the three concentric circle. And you look at it, and sure, you're kind of scratching your head, say, I'm not sure I'm getting it. So my job in this session is to bring that framework to life, so I understand how to think about Power BI, because it's actually logically, I think, will also allow you to communicate to your organization how to think about that product. So we'll start with the center. This is really the most important part. This is all about amazing data exploration experiences, and this is where the energy, the passion is coming to the product. This is so important because this is the thing that is driving the usage. There is no Power BI if there is no usage. If you don't have the users coming in, excited, loving the product, nothing else matters. None of the other circles really change anything. So we have been investing a lot of effort to make sure that your users will have amazing experiences. And we've done it both for the consumers, people who you build the reports for, and they come to the service, and they browse the reports, and they cross-highlight, and all this cool stuff. We wanted to make sure that it become easy, and fast, and intuitive. And then, for you guys who are creating the reports, we wanted to make sure that you really have this amazing experiences in the desktop. So we're going to go through some of the work that we've been doing. I'm going to start with the consumption experience, and I'm going to invite Łukasz Pawlowski to the stage to show us what we've done here in the Power BI service. Łukasz, come on in.
Thank you, Amir. As Power BI has grown, more users than ever are using data within Power BI to make their world better, to improve the outcomes of their organizations. Now, it all starts on Power BI Home, where they can quickly and easily find all the content they have access to. Recently, we've announced and released the organization branding capabilities. What this does is it allows your organization to establish Power BI as the enterprise data portal. Your users can easily recognize it and trust the data that's here. We also wanted to simplify the experiences for all of these users, many of whom are brand new to BI. They don't really know how to use or be part of a data culture. So what we did was we radically simplified and made elegant and customizable the app navigation for Power BI. Here, this app is fully branded, fully customizable. I can group things in sections, rename things, reorder things, make sure that they're perfectly tailored so that my end users can find the data they need. When I open a report with a page, it's integrated directly in the left nav, so I'm never lost. I always know exactly where I am. Now, we've also heard feedback from thousands of you, thousands of individuals who use Power BI every day, and we read all of those pieces of feedback. And as we looked at those, we realized that these new users, they need a much more simplified experience. And what we've done is we've actually created the new look for the Power BI service, where key information is front and center. I always know when the data was updated for the report. I always know who to contact to ask a question so I can go on with my day. And when we say that this is customizable and brings together content, we really do mean it's fully customizable. So for example, here I've gone and customized some of the branding of the app, but I can express exactly what it is that my end users need to do their job done. Maybe a little whimsical, this one, but you get the point. You can really tailor your data experiences for your end users. Now, we did something more than just make it customizable and bring some metadata. We actually thought really hard about which actions should be available to end users so they can always take the next step. Here, for example, when I export, whether I'm exporting to PowerPoint or to PDF, or starting an analysis in a pivot table in Excel, what I can do is front and center and easy to understand. Now, Power BI also lets us bring together a lot of different kinds of reports and all of our workloads into a single place. And naturally, they're fully integrated into the app experience. This paginated report shows that you can have pixel-perfect banded reporting ready for your use within a single experience. But you can go farther, because oftentimes when you have end users, you need to train them. So you can do things like here, integrate a stream video directly within the application. You can include PowerPoint decks, or Word documents, or any other embeddable Office piece of content directly here, so they always have the context they need. Perhaps my favorite is this one, which is a Microsoft form, where you can ask your end users for feedback and use that to drive improvements to the analytics you provide so that they become more effective as they're using data to drive decisions. Now, as we've done this, we haven't only focused on the raw consumption experience. We also know that you and lots of IT professionals the world over support thousands of users. Quite often, a Power BI app like this one is available to 18,000 or more end users, sales reps sometimes. Well, we've also tastefully added support experiences like this one, where you can configure a support site. This one's actually a Microsoft Teams channel URL. So a user can immediately get help when they need it from your team. So overall, with the new look, the new home experiences, and the new app nav, we've really drastically simplified the end user experience, making it easier than ever to participate in the data culture.
Thank you very much, Uresh.
Thank you.
The other part of those amazing experiences is in the tool that I'm sure many of you are using, which is the Power BI desktop. How many of you are using the Power BI desktop? Yeah, virtually everyone, right? And this is really where, if you look at our investments, you see that they are focused in two areas. The first one we call the PowerPoint for data. And the PowerPoint for data is all about creating these experiences that when people download the desktop, they just feel immediately at home. So, for example, when you move the visuals on the screen here, you get these red guidelines that tells you how to align them very, very easily. It's just like PowerPoint. When you go and you want to group visuals together, you just select the two visuals. You're going to right-click and say that you want to group them together. And then you resize them together. You're going to move them together. You're going to be able to do all the things that you're used to doing with PowerPoint. And the idea is everybody just should feel at home here. Ribbon, the ribbon work. We've actually been working together with the Office team on having a common ribbon. So our ribbon and the Office ribbon is the same one, which allows us to give you these experiences that you're familiar with from all the other Office products, like the ability to apply a theme. So you get the theme gallery that looks like Office products. You hover over and you get this instant preview of the theme in your report, just like at home. When you want to do the formatting of the text and the colors, well, the same ribbon will work here. I want to change the fonts. I just go in there and you'll find the same font selections and size selections and color selections. All of that is exactly the same way you'll find in PowerPoint. But not just PowerPoint. We know that how many of you are also using Excel? You don't have to be shy. You can say that you're using Excel. Everybody's using Excel, I know. Because we are also copying from Excel. We are shamelessly copying. So in this case, we are copying here the conditional formatting of Excel. One click and you get these conditional formats. The icon set is the same icon set you'll find in Excel, exactly the same one. The dialog that you configure is exactly the same dialog you'll find in Excel. And then the idea is that every new user, that they load the product, they don't have to go and open tutorials and watch videos to just figure out where to click. Everything needs to to be blindingly obvious. Now, it's a journey. We're not there completely, and we'll continue to build more and more of those Office-like capabilities, but this is a big, big area of investment for us, and we are very excited about it. The other area of investment for us is the area of augmented analytics. This is really trying to bring the power of AI and machine learning to every user. Now, I've been trying to do that for 2 decades, and I thought that I would be able to convince every business user, every business analyst to become a data scientist, and that did not work out. So instead, we figured out a way that we need to go and bring those AI capabilities in a way that every user can understand. So we are lucky. We are part of Microsoft, and Microsoft is a big, big investor in AI. We have 5,000 people who are working on AI outside the Power BI team. You know, they are working as researchers, as architects, as developers on AI technologies, and we have some of the most amazing capabilities on earth when it comes to cognitive services, object recognition, speech recognition, reading comprehension. We have the best technologies on earth, and we, the small Power BI team, can just come and pick up those technologies and embed them into the product and create these kind of amazing experiences. So to show us some of those experiences, Justina is going to come and going to talk about the industries that you just did. She's going to talk about the new work we're doing on natural language querying, the decomposition tree, the new AI visual that we have created, and also the cognitive services integrated into the Power BI desktop. So Justina, come on in.
Cool, thank you, Amir. Hi, everyone. All right, so today I want to show you how you can leverage the new AI visualizations in Power BI to build some awesome experiences for your end users to explore their data. And today we're going to be looking at a supply chain scenario. So all the data we're looking at is supply chain related. And the problem we're going to be looking at is to do with back orders. So back orders are basically when your customer tries to buy a product, it's not available, it's out of stock, so it's a bad thing. We want to minimize that. And the first visualization I wanted to show you is the new key influencers visualization that we went to GA with in August. So you can just very easily set it up here. It's part of your visualizations pane. And I've already started setting up this visual. And you can see I'm looking at what influences products to be on backorder. So products is a field in my data model. And now I want to drag in some fields that are going to help me understand my backorders as influencers. And we can try out the different fields. Maybe demand type matters, or forecast accuracy, or forecast bias. And every time I drag in one of these fields, we're actually rerunning a machine learning model in real time. And we can see, for example, the top influencer is demand type being volatile. Makes sense. If I can't forecast what sorts of goods my users want, I'm not going to have them available. But what's awesome about this model is as I interact with the rest of my report, it's just another visual. So if I click on, let's say, my intermittent demand, the visualization just recalculates right here in real time. Throws away the old model, new one comes in. And here we can see a pretty interesting insight. It actually looks like if our forecast is accurate, then we have a lot of products on backorder. Now, that doesn't make much sense to me if I think about it. It sounds like if I know how to forecast my products, they shouldn't be ending up on backorder. So I want to introduce another AI visualization that can maybe help me do some root cause analysis and figure out what's going on. And this is the new decomposition tree visualization that's going to be coming to Power BI in just a week. So stay tuned for that.
Hold on. How many of you have used decomposition trees many, many years ago as part of Performance Point? Oh, wow,
all right.
How many old-timers we have here.
I hope we're making you guys happy. We saw it was, I think, #1 on user voice. Yeah. So, we're hoping.
This is way better than the original.
Yeah, and let's see some of the reasons why we think it's better. So I have my percentage of products in backorder over here. And the first thing, for those of you who aren't familiar with the old decomposition tree, what's so cool about this is I can drill into any column I want in any order. So if I want to start with, let's say, my forecast bias, I can go into that, and the tree just beautifully opens up. Now, we saw earlier on that we had a problem with our accurate forecast, right? So I want to drill in further into my accurate forecast. And here we saw a problem that we had with the demand type being intermittent. Again, I can just select that. It's in the middle of the list. The whole tree expands out. But this is now where the magic comes in and where we sprinkled a little bit of intelligence into the visualization. Because now I don't know what the root cause is. I don't know what's going on. I don't know how I can have something that's accurate and that's ending up high on back orders. So instead of figuring out, is it a particular brand or maybe a particular distribution center that's the problem, I can just ask Power BI. And Power BI is going to tell me where my problem is coming from. So here Power BI is telling me, well, it looks like your back orders are really high for patient monitoring products specifically. And if we do this again, we click again my high value, it tells me there's a problem with a specific plant. And this is actually based loosely on a real customer story. And it actually turned out that there wasn't a problem with their forecasting. That was always a green KPI. But it turned out there was a problem in the manufacturing. So even though they knew how many goods they needed, there was actually a problem with one of the machines for one of their product types. And so the problem was further upstream. And again, this is a fully interactive visualization. I can click around, and the whole tree is going to animate. And
isn't it gorgeous?
I mean, I'm a little bit biased. I think it's pretty cool, but thank you. Now, the last visualization I wanted to show you.
By the way, that Decom tree, when will they be able to get?
Next week in preview.
Next week, in the next desktop release, you're going to get the Decom tree preview.
Absolutely. Download the November desktop release, turn on the preview feature, and you'll see it there. Now, there's also another very cool visualization we just released last month, and this is the Q&A visualization. And so if I just want my end users to be able to ask natural language questions of their data, this is the experience for that. So this is not like the old Q&A experience. This is actually a completely new visualization that, again, I can just find inside my visualizations pane. Now, you'll notice that there's a number of questions that pop up straight away, and these are already suggested questions that Power BI has pre-generated by analyzing my data. I don't need to do anything for these to appear. Now, if I click on one of these, again, we just plot a visualization, but again, this is now just a fully interactive visual that's part of my report. So as I interact with my data, you can see the rest of my visualizations all update. Now, let's go ahead and ask a question from scratch. Let's look at maybe backorder percentage. We can look at it by area. And you'll notice something cool here. We were able to answer the question. That's a good thing. But Power BI didn't actually understand the word area. You can see it's underlined in red. So what's going on here? Well, we've actually integrated with the Office thesaurus. So we're automatically annotating your whole data model with synonyms that we have found. And you do have region defined in this data model. So we are able to exactly infer that area and region are synonyms. So that's probably what you meant. But we can also do more. We have also completely revamped the Q&A tooling. So you can go ahead and open this up directly in the context of your visualization. And what I can do now is I can actually review all of the questions that are being asked in the Power BI service. So my end users are interacting with the visual, and I can see what kinds of things are popping up over here. So I can see, for example, backorder percentage by factory was not understood. My end user requested a fix for this. And I can just go ahead and fix it directly in this context. I'm using Q&A to train Q&A now. So Q&A is asking me, what does factory refer to? I'm going to say factory refers to plant. And you can see that there's going to be a preview over here that automatically updates. I can see that looks like the correct result. I'm going to save this. And now my Q&A model understands what factory means. So thank you so much. With that, I'd like to pass back to Amir.
Thank you so much, Justina. And you know that Q&A visual, we released it just a couple of weeks ago, and virtually overnight, the number of users of natural language queries in Power BI grew threefold. It was just incredible to see that when you just bring it into the report, you make it part of this visual experience of Power BI, everybody just start adopting it. So if you look together today at what we have created and collected inside Power BI, whether it comes to work that data scientists like to do around Python and R integration, when it comes to the analysts, I'm going to see more about the use of cognitive services and machine learning, auto machine learning, and then for end users with the AI visuals and the natural language querying, all of that really made Power BI the most complete AI and machine learning suite in any BI product in the world. And we are incredibly excited about that. So this was that center circle. This is so important. Creating that ease of use and that impactful insights is what brings the users in, what keeps them in, what keeps you guys excited, and that's the heart of the product. But in order to make Power BI really scalable, to be deployed to thousands and tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of users in the organizations, we have to make sure that the folks in IT, how many of you are from IT? Almost all of you. You guys need to be happy as well, not just your users. And this is where we have massive investment in taking Power BI and making that modern enterprise BI suite to make sure that the things that your users don't necessarily care about, whether it's compliance and privacy and security and scale, things that you care about, and proper processes and governance, all these things need to be properly handled so you can trust it to be deployed to a large number of users. So over the last couple of years, we went on this journey to wrap that self-service, amazing experience core of the product with a set of supporting services that are making sure that you guys are happy. And it's a whole set of services. We're going to walk through some of them, but the goal is really to make that very, very complete suite of enterprise BI. And we'll start there with how we get the data into Power BI. And we have we have worked and released this year the capability of data flows. And right here. The capability of flows that allows you to really ingest massive amounts of data from over 120 types of data sources directly into the data lake, processing the data, recleaning the data, integrating the data. And then we also added to that a set of machine learning capabilities that allow you to take that data and enrich it further. Parse it, understand, take the key phrases from the text, measure the sentiment, tag the images, all this stuff we can now do with machine learning all through the data preparation phase. So that is something that you're actually catching on incredibly fast. We're having tens of thousands of customers who are using those capabilities, and that's amazing adoption in just a few months. And what we are really proud is that, just now, this conference, we announced the general availability of automated ML. So to show us data flows and machine learning and additional data to Power BI, I'm going to invite back Justina to give us another demo.
Yay, thank you, Amir. Okay. So I'm going to stick with my supply chain example, but now I want to kind of take things a little bit back and look at some of the data preparation that happened behind the scenes. So one really important thing for me is I need to consolidate data from lots of different disparate sources. So I need to connect to those sources, I need to transform my data, I may need to bring in lots of data from lots of places and build that on top of each other, and consolidate all that data in a single unified place. And the perfect tool for that is data flows in the Power BI service. So let's take a look. So over here, we can see that on the left-hand side, I've got all the different sources that I'm connecting to. And all of these purple boxes that you see over here are data flows. So each of them represents a bunch of different data transformations that has taken place. And behind the scenes, this is just using Power Query. So if you use Power Query in the Power BI desktop, you're already familiar with it, you already know how to use this. But what's special about data flows is you're basically creating these reusable ETL blocks that you can build on top of each other. So you can see over here, if we take a look at our, let's say, sales order data flow, I've gone ahead and linked that into an inventory data and supply chain analytics view as well. And all of these little lines that you're seeing, they're not drawn by the users. They're actually just generated by Power BI because we understand the functional dependencies of all of your data. So if I go ahead and let's say want to refresh my data over here, we can see that Power BI knows that it needs to go ahead and refresh my inventory data and supply chain analytics. So everything is handled and orchestrated by Power BI. I don't have to worry about things like overwriting my data and so on. And once I've consolidated all of my data and brought it into the supply chain analytics view, I can build beautiful reports like we just saw with my supply chain analytics report, but other analysts can go ahead and build their own reports on top of this too. So we've gone ahead and taken this whole data prep and just gone ahead and operationalized it into a single unified experience. Now all of this data is living on top of the Azure data lake. And what I'm going to do over here is I'm going to pop this into a list view. And I'm going to open up the Azure Storage Explorer. And what you're able to see over here is I'm actually inside an Azure data lake. I'm inside a Power BI blob container, and inside my supply chain view workspace. And all of these different folders that you see over here are the same data flows that you see in Power BI. And over here, these are represented as CDM folders. So what they contain are CSV files that you can see over here. These entities are all CSV files. And we have a model.json descriptor file. And this is super important. What this model.json file does is it describes all of the data. And Power BI can read and write this, but so can Azure Data Factory, so can the other Power Platform tools, so can Dynamics 365. So if I want to go ahead and, let's say, collaborate with my data scientist who is using an Azure notebook and is writing Python code, they can go ahead and they can connect that same model.json file, transform their data, save it into the data lake, and Power BI can just read that as another data flow. Now, another really cool thing I can do on top of my data is I can build machine learning models as part of my data flow pipeline. So I'm going to go and I'm going to edit the sales order data flow. And you'll notice over here, we have this little icon that has this brain and a lightning bolt. And what this allows me to do is just add a machine learning model. Now, the first step I need to do is I need to define what it is that I'm trying to predict. I'm going back again to supply chain. So now I want to add some predictive insights to figure out which of my products are going to end up on back order. And so I've selected this field, which is a true and false field. It tells me either a product is on back order or it's not. Now, in this step, Power BI is going to take a look at the data, and it's going to recommend a type of model I should be building. So here it's recommending a binary prediction model, because again, I have two states, either on back order or not. And I can change these labels. I can say this is high risk, this is low risk. And the final step is simply selecting the data I want the machine learning model to learn from. So over here, we have all of the different fields that are present in the entity. Power BI has done an automatic selection, and it's given even me explanations as to why something is not recommended. So we can see things like low correlation with on back order, and so I can change these if I want, but Power BI automatically does a selection for me. Now, behind the scenes, once this is basically done, because I'm pretty much done building this model, and I can save and train it now, Automated ML, which is what is being used in the back end here, this is an Azure service that we've just integrated, is going to do a bunch of things. Firstly, it's going to do feature selection. So it's going to look at those features that I gave it, this list of variables, and it's going to select the best ones to learn from. It's going to iterate through lots and lots of different types of algorithms, and it's going to tune all of those algorithms. It's basically doing hyperparameter tuning to try and build me the best possible model that it can. Now, once this is done, it's going to take a bit of time. You can go ahead and access an evaluation report, and this tells you how well the model has performed, and you've got all your different metrics, and you can even look behind the scenes of Automated ML, and you can see how it's learned. So you can see we ran 40 different types of models and parameters over here to build the best possible model for me. And then...
How many of you used AutoML before? Just a few of you. You should really give it a try. It's pretty amazing technology.
Yeah, and what we're trying to really do is allow you to infuse your descriptive analytics with your predictive insights. And this is a great stepping stone towards that. Because now what I can do is I can apply this model to new data where I don't know whether a product's going to end up on back order or not. And I can just build that into my Power BI report. So let's jump back into the Power BI report we were in before. I can jump into my risk analytics page that I've built out, and you can see over here I've added a new column that tells me for every single product what is the risk of it being back order or not. And I can select one of these products that seems to have a high likelihood, and Automated ML does even more. It actually gives me row-level explanations. So it tells me not only, hey, this is at risk, but this is why. And here we can see for this particular product, our forecast accuracy wasn't great, we don't have a lot of items in inventory, and we're behind in manufacturing. So no surprise, this is ending up on back order, but it gives you that transparency into the model. And with that, thank you so much. I'm going to pass back to Amir.
Thank you so much, Justina.
Thank you.
So the next part of enterprise BI, and really the heart of enterprise BI, the semantic models, the enterprise semantic models, and the enterprise reporting capabilities coupled together with enterprise information management capabilities. So when it comes to enterprise semantic models, this is super central. This is how you guys disseminate information to your business users, information that that is high quality, that is modeled correctly, that the business logic is put together correctly. The one version of the true classical BI, that's how we do that. And we are lucky. We actually have come from the legacy. Our team owns SQL Server analysis services that has been powering the BI industry for 2 decades. We have the richest, most complete, most sophisticated semantic model capabilities than any other product in the market, and that analysis services is the foundation of Power BI today. So all these capabilities you are used to, and how many of you used the SQL Server analysis services in the past? Look at you, almost all of you. You'll find them all in Power BI. It's not a copy. It's not us trying to be compatible. It's essentially, it is the same code, not essentially, it is the same code. And similarly, how many of you have used SQL Server reporting services? All of you, right? So we put also all that code into Power BI. And we know that SQL Server reporting services is the way that billions upon billions of reports are being generated every day, sent to mailboxes on a scheduled basis, in a personalized view. Put all that into Power BI so you can really deliver your statutory report, your product catalogs, your bills and statements. All of that you can do in Power BI to the detailed reporting, delivered in multiple formats, pixel perfect, Excel, PDF, Word documents, everything that you need on a scheduled basis. And on top of that, we add information management capabilities. So what I want to focus on, and we're going to see in a moment a demo, we're going to focus on two things. First of all, the new Lineage View that we have introduced just a couple of weeks ago, which allows you to really see all the relationship between all the artifacts. Because when you build this big project that had lots of artifacts, lots of data flows and data sets and reports and paginated reports and dashboard, all that, it started becoming complicated. How are these things connected to each other? What will happen if you're going to make a change? That's what the Lineage View is about. And the announcement we just made yesterday about the new size limits for Power BI. And we are moving from 10 gigabytes limit to up to 400 gigabyte limit in Power BI Premium. And to show us this and some more, I'm going to invite Christian Wade, the one and only, the clicky, draggy guy, into the stage.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Very, very happy to be here. We have some amazing things to show you. So let's start off with the reporting and look at the integration that we now have between interactive reports and paginated reports. So here I have this nice looking interactive report. It's, I can slice and dice, I can navigate through the data. And what if I want to print the invoices for these sales? I can now just click on this button, and it's going to launch a paginated report. And as you can see, it's going to pass through the filters as URL parameters, and it's even gone so far as to download a PDF version for me that I can just go ahead and send straight to my printer. This is full pagination, high fidelity printing, and we're seeing so many customers migrate their on-premises paginated reports to the Power BI service, allowing a single co-located location for their business intelligence artifacts. This is really, really exciting to have paginated reports integrated in Power BI. But now let's switch over to datasets. So here I have some datasets, right? These, let's say I work in IT. I think most of you work in IT. And so these are rich semantic models, and I've put my love and dedication into building these semantic models, and I want to promote them for pretty much global reuse. And what I can do is I can come into the settings for a data set, and I can set the endorsement level to promoted. Setting this to promoted means I'm putting my reputation behind it, I've tested it, it is ready for general consumption. You'll notice there is also a certified option. I don't even have the permissions to set this data set to certified. I'd have to go through the data governance process for my organization to get it certified as the single version of the truth, as it were. So I'll go ahead and apply just the promoted endorsement level, and there we can see the data set is tagged as promoted. So what does this actually mean? So I'm going to switch personas now to the analyst persona that is going to consume data from this promoted data set. So I'm going, of course, over to my favorite tool, Power BI Desktop, and I'm going to simply say, get data, Power BI datasets, no server names or anything like that, and immediately I'm presented with a list of all of the datasets that I have access to. And they could be, we know Power BI grows virally, right? There could literally be hundreds of datasets here. So what we've done is we've improved the discoverability, and we're listing the certified and promoted datasets right at the top of the list, making them very easy to find. So there's no excuse for not using the sanctioned single version of the truth dataset. I'll go ahead and select the one that we promoted. And I'm now going to create a report on this data set, and I'm going to do so in record time using the magic of copy-paste visuals in Power BI Desktop. Just like that, 2 clicks, I've got this beautiful looking report, and I now want to go ahead and publish this to the Power BI service. Now, here's the key. I want to really emphasize this point. I am able to publish this report to any workspace that I have the permissions to do so. This is not tightly coupled with the datasets. You can have your BI pros build these these semantic models in one workspace and have consumers all over the globe potentially creating reports in their own workspaces, all right? So I'll go ahead and publish to this one. And I actually already have it loaded in the interest of time. And so here it is. Here's my beautiful report. We've got lots of users using it. And maybe someone goes ahead and pins this to a dashboard. So now we'll go over to this dashboard. So this is my executive dashboard, right? I've got various visuals here from different reports and different data sets, and some data sets are in different workspaces. You know, naturally, this is my executive dashboard, right? I need to ensure, or how do I check that this data is coming from trusted sources? Well, we recently announced the beautiful Lineage View that shows you all of the interdependencies between your Power BI artifacts. This is so valuable for these large organizations that have lots of users collaborating on Power BI artifacts. So here we have that dashboard. We can see the data sets it's getting data from. And here we have another dashboard. And you can see that this is getting data from this data set, which happens to be in a different workspace. No problem. We just click on it and we go straight to the Lineage View for the different workspace. So we're now in here and we can go ahead and look at where this is. So it's getting data from these data flows and these data sources. We have an end-to-end 360-degree view from the data source all the way over to the dashboard, or in some other workspace somewhere, across workspaces, across data sets, an end-to-end lineage view of as an EIM system. Now, you may ask, what if I actually have users who want to consume data from the Power BI dataset using a non-Microsoft data visualization tool? You may legitimately ask, why on earth would you want to do that? And there are some conceivable scenarios. You may be rolling out a semantic model at a global level. You want to promote a single version of the truth. You may have certain users in certain departments who may be using non-Microsoft data visualization tools, and that's fine. We support open platform connectivity using what we call the XMLA endpoint. I can simply come in here and I can copy this workspace connection, and I can now connect to it using a variety of non-Microsoft data visualization tools, and I still get to promote that single version of the truth, right? We're confident that over time those users will learn the full benefits of Power BI, but in the meantime, no problem. And it's not just about data visualization tools. It's also about management tools. So I'm going to put this over here, and I'm going to show you that I'm also connected using SQL Server Management Studio. And I think many of you said you use analysis services. So this is the traditional management tool for analysis services. And as you can see, I'm connected to the same workspace connection. And if I move this, you can see I've got the same data sets listed. And if I come to the properties here and zoom in, you'll see something very interesting about this data set. This data set is 70 gigabytes in size.
70 gigabytes.
70. This is, to put this into context, this is actually about 1.8 terabytes of data in its raw uncompressed form. You can see in the background that the largest table has over 3 billion rows. Okay, this is a sizable data set, and it's running in Power BI. Yeah. So you may ask, can Power BI even deal with data set sizes greater than 10 gigabytes? Guess what? We can now.
Now we can.
Now we can. As of yesterday, we launched the large models feature, which takes Power BI dataset sizes to parity with Azure Analysis Services for up to 400 gigabytes of compressed data to unlock these massive data sets for interactive visualization.
It's worthwhile, yes. Let's clap a little bit, yes.
Thank you.
It's worthwhile looking at the slide.
Thank you very much.
You know, let's move to the slide. Back to the slide, yes. So, you know, we released Power BI with 1 gigabyte limits. That's the pro limit still today. Then we did Power BI Premium, 10 gigabyte limit. And as of yesterday, it can go all the way to 400 gigabyte. But let me tell you something. Actually, in the works right now, in the labs, we are working on another innovation that will go even higher than that, all the way to 4 terabytes of data, of compressed data. That means we're talking about trillions of rows in your data sets, which I think, how many of you have more than trillions of rows in your data set? None of you. Yes, so basically every conceivable use case for BI we'll be covering here. So that's pretty amazing. Thank you so much.
Absolutely brilliant.
Okay. And you'll be back.
I'll be back.
You'll be back. Okay. Very soon. Because the next topic I want to talk about is application lifecycle management. Because as you've seen, as we are deploying this massive application of Power BI, we're deploying it to tens of thousands of users. We're deploying them with sometimes hundreds of reports and dashboards and data sets. These are big, complex projects. Typically, way more than one person are working on the development. And when you deploy that in such a large scale, you need to have a proper deployment process. And this is where the last area of innovation that we think will complete the puzzle for us is coming into play, which is application lifecycle management. And what application lifecycle management allows you to do is to build these deployment pipelines. That we have a proper isolation between a development environment, a test environment, a production environment, the ability to productize the transition between those. You can have the developer working on a development data set, and then you move to test. You can actually test on the production data set. Maybe the developers don't have even permission to see the real data. You can have full control on the transition, what you're going to move. A full application lifecycle management exists here. And this is very exciting. We're going to show you today a sneak peek of that. It's not going to be released in this conference. It's going to be released, we believe, actually going to go into private preview these days. Public preview is coming in the first quarter of next year. But to show you what we mean, I'm going to invite back the same legendary Christian Wade.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Amir. Hello, glad to be back. All right. So, all right, before I start, I'd just like to point out that with the XML endpoint that you saw me connect through SQL Server Management Studio, Power BI will soon be compatible with application lifecycle management processes like checking into source control, integration with DevOps pipelines for CI/CD, automated deployments, etc. But what I'm going to show you now is really goes beyond those traditional ALM processes and really gets you up and running in next to no time with a really simplified management experience here in Power BI. So I'm going to come over to the Deployment Pipelines menu option. I'm going to go ahead and create a pipeline. Let's call this Ignite Pipeline. And so as you can see, I have my development, test, and production slots, as they're called, my environments. And I can now assign Power BI workspaces to each of these slots. So I'll go ahead and choose this one as my development environment. And I could now click Deploy to Test, and it would actually create a copy of that workspace. It creates another workspace that would be my test environment, or in the test slot. I happen to already have a pipeline bootstrapped. So here we are. I have development, test, and production. And here is where it gets really interesting. All I have to do is click this compare button, and I get a full difference analysis, a full diff script of the Power BI artifacts that have changed and been added across environments, right? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Pretty impressive, right? Yeah. This is just like a really good, I've been in this situation before where I needed this just as a sanity check to check the status of my artifacts. All right, now I can click Deploy to Test, and it will synchronize the metadata. So it will bring the report definitions and the data set definitions up to the latest version. But here's a key point. It will retain the data. Just like when you deploy a new version of a data warehouse, you don't reload all the data. You apply an incremental diff script, which is exactly what Power BI will do. And another thing that makes this super useful is that we can configure each environment or each slot, and we can say, for example, that the sales analysis drill down data set, actually, this data set is in the test workspace, so why not get the data from the test instance of the data warehouse? Makes sense, right? So we can configure each environment. We can also use Power Query parameters to configure each environment to, for example, limit the data that's loaded into the development environment. So you can completely configure each environment, and when you do a deployment, the target workspace will not only retain the data, it will also retain the configuration. So this is a much more simplified management experience and gets you up and running very quickly for those mission-critical systems that require user acceptance testing, etc.
Thank you so much, Christian.
Thank you.
So together, if you see, look at the whole set of capabilities, we have created the most complete enterprise BI platform on the planet. And in fact, you're voting with your feet on that. We have been seeing over the last 12 months a 600% growth in large enterprise deployments of Power BI. You guys are really finding this to be the right platform for those mission-critical BI workloads, which is just fantastic. But what I really want to finish with is really the next frontier for BI. So far, these inner circles have been all about a standalone BI product. It's all have been, people just buy Power BI as a pure play, just what is the best product, but haven't been taking into consideration how the BI product plays with the rest of the organization. And that outer circle is really how we weave BI into every aspect of the organization. Because if we want to get to a data culture, we really have to make BI pervasive. Not just wait for users to go to www.powerbi.com, but really bring BI to them in every possible way. So there are many dimensions to this trouble, and we're going to tackle them one by one. The first one is the data stack. BI cannot just be thought in isolation from the rest of the data stack. When you guys are building big enterprise analytical applications, there's not just BI there. There's also a data lake. There's also a data warehouse. There's also a massive enterprise ETL tool. There's also some machine learning that data scientists are using. We have to think about the whole thing as a holistic problem. And we are incredibly excited with the announcement that we made in this conference about Azure Synapse Analytics, which is really bringing all these technologies together into one framework of experience, one framework of management, integration, monitoring, security enforcement, and Power BI just integrates into the same framework. So as your data engineers and data architects are building those analytical applications at enterprise scale, you find this whole suite just designed to work together. So to show you what it means for Power BI to be part of Azure Synapse Analytics, I'm going to invite back Christian to show a demo of that.
Hello again. Hello, everyone. Okay.
I'm going to do it quick because we're running out of time.
Yes. Okay. So Azure Synapse. We in the Power BI group, we heard about this Synapse party, and we said, you know what, we like to party. We will happily participate. We will happily build deep integration of Power BI artifacts right into the Synapse environment. So I'm here in Synapse Studio. I have my SQL pools and my Spark pools hooked up. I also have my Power BI workspace hooked up as a linked service, which means I can come into the Development tab. I not only have my SQL scripts, I not only have my Jupyter notebooks, I also have my Power BI artifacts right here, allowing the data engineer to have a single pane of glass across the entire analytics stack. And this is full fidelity reports authoring. Here's the report we saw earlier. I can add new reports by simply clicking New Power BI Report. And I, as the data engineer, and I can just pick this data set here. So as the data engineer, can build these reports for my end users without even leaving the Synapse environment. And there you go. So it's just like authoring a report in Power BI Desktop, all right? And we also have an integrated experience to create Power BI data sets. So I'm going to skip that part in the interest of time, but just to let you know that we are fully participating in Azure Synapse. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Christian. And we are just at the beginning of the journey here. You'll see rolling in the next months better and better integration between Synapse and Power BI. But we're so excited about being able to come in together with all these technologies, a single integrated experience for you guys who will sit in Azure and build these big enterprise applications. Next area of investment for us is around productivity. And this is really about not waiting for the users to come to us, but bringing BI to the user wherever they are. Because if we really want to get to a data culture, we really have to they have to feel it in everything that they do. When they use Excel, when they use Outlook, when they use PowerPoint, when they use Teams, they are going to find BI in there, infused into their experiences. Now, it's a journey. We're just at the beginning. We're working with the Office team. We have multiple threads that are going on. We are going to deliver it in pieces. The first piece has been delivered for Ignite, and that's integration with Teams. So I'm going to, we want to show here into the Teams integration. I'm going to call Łukasz back on stage to give us that demo.
Great. Thank you, Amir. So as we know, when we use data to make decisions, we always rely on our colleagues to help us. Managers ask employees to make sure that the numbers have been fully vetted before showing them to higher management. Or I might ask an analyst whether my conclusion is the right one. Well, the natural place to do that, and organizations the world over are betting on Microsoft Teams to help all of the people in the organization collaborate and make business outcomes better. So I'm going to start here in my Microsoft Power BI report. And I'm going to just go ahead and copy the link. And I'm going to show you what happens with our new integrations when I paste that link here into Teams. What you'll notice is that all of the metadata for that report is being loaded right here into Teams. It knows all of the information. It's not just a basic link anymore. Also, there are actions here that I can take the next step. So as I roll out BI to lots of different people in my organization, they all know what to do. Now, this capability is going to start shipping next year, but I'll show you a capability that we're going to start, we already have a version of, and we're improving still this calendar year, is the Teams tab. Now, when I go to provision my teams, quite often what I'm trying to do, well, I waited a little too long, pardon me. So what I often try to do is I try to ensure that my team has all of the data at their fingertips that they need to make decisions. Because what organizations are doing is they're bringing people and the tools they use to make those decisions together in a single place so they can make faster, better outcomes. And this new tab supports all the workspaces we have in Power BI, classic workspaces and the new workspace experience. It even supports reports within apps. So I can come in here, pick a report, and integrate it directly. And now, when I onboard a new person onto my team, they immediately go there, have their colleagues and their data in one place, and they can be immediately productive.
It's beautiful.
Great. Thanks so much, Amir.
And now, I don't know how many of you, if you've been to this conference, you heard about the Power Platform. This is where we bring the action and insight together. This is where we're creating a suite which creates this circular, this closed loop of analytics, automation, and applications together to really make you guys very more productive, create more applications that are more insightful. And we have created this suite, Power Automate, Power Apps, and Power BI, that comes together to create this amazing, actionable insight experience. We have just released, in the last couple of weeks, we have released the ability to go and integrate into Power BI the Power Apps visual, which means that now on the Power BI canvas, you can take action. You can embed a Power App directly in the canvas. The context is flowing between Power BI and filling up the fields in Power Apps, and you can initiate actions. You'll see us continuing to work on that in the coming months as we are going to introduce more integration points. Integration between the ability to put a button of automation inside Power BI to start a Power BI Power Automation flow inside Power BI. You'll see the ability to put Power BI reports with one click into Power Apps and so forth. So all these kind of cross-Power Platform integrations are coming together. Incredibly exciting, and we can see that the Power Platform is becoming this own category and I'm sure that I really encourage all of you to start learning these other tools as well. But I want to finish on the last pillar here, which is trust. And when we come to trust, we're talking about many ways that we really have to create trust inside with the BI tool. The first one is about openness. It's about the notion that when you are choosing your BI tool, you're not locked in, you're not painted into a corner, that you still have access to all your data, you can still have access to a full set of choices, and that's one part. Another part is security. And security is incredibly important. I know all of you that had to go and make the transition from on-premises to the cloud and had to deal with your chief information security officer, understand how important is security and how sensitive this topic is, and compliance. We won't talk about compliance last, but let's start with the openness. Major investment we're making in openness. We started with Power BI. Power BI was always about openness. We started, when the first few months of Power BI, we already introduced the open visualization framework, where you can go and create your own visualization. You can pick visualization from the marketplace. We have over 250 visualizations out there that are available for you to choose. There are thousands that were created inside the organization and not shared outside. Pretty incredible what we've done there. And the sky's the limit. If you need a visualization, you can just do anything you want there. But it's not just the visualization. As Christian mentioned, the APIs to the semantic model. Those semantic models are so precious, the enterprise semantic models. You put so much sweat and work to make sure they're high quality and properly modeled on your DAX expression. We make sure that they're not just locked in Power BI. You can connect to them from virtually every tool. We support the XML API, which is a standard API for in the BI industry to connect to data sources. So you can connect from virtually any tool in the world, and you can build your own applications connecting to it. It's amazingly powerful to have that kind of openness. And lastly, when it comes to openness, we actually store the data in the data lake. When you bring it to the Dataflow in an open format, as Justina just showed us, CSV files, anybody can read them. You can read them from your own application, from any tool that you can imagine. The metadata is fully disclosed in a JSON file, very easy to read. Just make sure that's your data. You can do with it whatever you want. It's always accessible for you. It's not locked behind APIs. It's not locked behind licensing restrictions. It's not locked behind some arcane format. It's just there for you to use all the time. The other area of investment, and this is really transformational for us, is what we're doing with security. And we have been investing, Microsoft has been in the security business for a while. It's a very large business for us. We have 3,500 professionals that deal with security, the researchers, architects, developers, and it's just staggering to look at the statistics of how much Microsoft is doing with security. We are analyzing about 500 billion emails every month. We are more than 500 billion logins that we have to prevent the bad guys coming into your systems. And in fact, during that process, we are blocking 5 million threats every month. So, there is certainly work. There are a lot of bad guys out there that are trying to get to your data. So with all that IP that we have, we are fortunate to be able to take that IP and embed it into Power BI to take it and make Power BI the most secure BI product in the world by integrating with Microsoft Information Protection and Microsoft Cloud Application Security. And to show us how this is all done, I'm going to invite for the last demo, Adi Regev to stage. Adi?
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Amir. Okay, hi, everyone. So I'm very excited to be here today and tell you about the new differentiating capabilities in Power BI, leveraging some of Microsoft's leading security product. So for our demo today, let's imagine that I'm a security analyst at Contoso, a retail company, and I'm creating now a report for our sales results. Now, the data is obviously sensitive in that report, and so I want to tag it as sensitive. To that extent, I'm now setting in my settings a new sensitivity label based on Microsoft Information Protection sensitivity labels. So Microsoft Information Protection, MIP, is a set of solutions that helps protect and govern data throughout its life cycle. And in this case, the set of labels that I have here is the very same set of labels that I have when I interact with Office data and with Office files. For instance, when I label Word or Excel or PowerPoint or Outlook emails. And the beautiful thing here is that those MIP sensitivity labels are defined in one central location in the organization, in the Security and Compliance Center, and are then honored and recognized across the entire Office stack and now Power BI. So I've labeled my report as highly confidential, and now you can see both the sensitive tag here on the report in the Lineage View, as well as in other experiences in Power BI, it will indicate that it's sensitive. But in the same sense, I can also label other artifacts, dashboards, datasets, and data flows. Now, continuing with my story, I've shared now my sensitive report with Adele, who's a biz dev manager on my team. Adele now starts looking at the report, and she wants to investigate the data further. So she does a very common operation in Power BI. She exports the data to Excel. Now, since the report is labeled as sensitive, when I open my Excel, you can see that the label, the sensitivity label, actually persists here on the Excel, and it's labeled as internal only. Moreover, you can see that it means that various permissions apply on that Excel and that the data exported is actually protected. If someone external had tried to open that file, they wouldn't have succeeded. In the same manner, exporting data now supports MIP sensitivity labels also when the data is exported into PowerPoint or into PDF from Power BI. So for instance, I exported the same report into PowerPoint, and same thing, it's labeled as internal only, and I have the respective protection on it. Great. Moving on with our story, Adele returns home. But later in the evening, she wants to continue and analyze some of the data. So again, she exports the data to her device. But in this case, she's connecting from her home PC, which is an unmanaged device. Now, Contoso allows its users to connect to Power BI and see the data to encourage productivity. But there are certain actions which are prohibited on such devices. For instance, downloading sensitive data. To that extent, we're now leveraging our new integration with Microsoft Cloud App Security. Microsoft Cloud App Security is a security broker that helps monitor user activity in real time, control some of the actions, and take remediative actions. In this case, MCAS kicked in since it was monitoring the session, and it blocked the download. The very same operation that Adele was able to do from her work office is now blocked from her home device. Great. So we showed you how we protect data, but to complete the story, we also provide new administrative capabilities to our admins. So, moving on here, I move on to my admin portal. And here I've added new protection data reports in the admin portal to see all of the sensitive data in my org for the admins, such as the distribution between the sensitive artifacts or the MCAS alerts raised. But not only that, we also add the ability to link easily into the MCAS portal using a dedicated Power BI role, such that administrators can log in without additional credentials or additional security groups and see and troubleshoot the alerts further. For instance, here's the download blocked from just a minute ago, but also other dedicated alerts that are specific to Power BI. For instance, a suspicious Power BI report sharing. You can also see the culprit users or the activity map and much more data. So to sum it up, we protect now data not only within Power BI, leveraging some of the existing capabilities like access permissions or row-level security or encryption keys. Now we also protect data when it leaves Power BI, when it's labeled with MIP sensitivity labels. We also monitor user activity and block certain actions or raise alerts in real time, leveraging MCAS, and we provide oversight on it all for our IT. Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
This is the first time I can say that when you move your BI installation to the cloud, you're going to find a more secure installation than anything you had ever on premises. We have the best security tools, best security technologies that are available on the planet protecting your BI data when you are in Power BI. Now, I want to close. Let's move back to the slides. I'm going to close with a topic that I never ever close a presentation with, which is compliance. Slide. Yeah, it doesn't sound like a very exciting topic, right? Compliance. Slides, please. Come on, guys. Okay, that's all good. So I need you guys to move the monitor. Okay, let's wait for them. Okay, so I guess that's how we do it. Okay, great. Whew. Okay, we're going to finish with compliance. And you know, what's so exciting about compliance? We are deployed at 40 different data centers on virtually every continent except Antarctica on Earth, 43 languages. We have to comply with the laws of the land, and we have collected every possible certificate to make it happen. And we have over 40 certificates, and you know, doesn't sound like very, very exciting, but I want to focus on 3 certificates. And those certificates are W3C, GSA, and EN301, 45448, I don't know. You know them, I don't know them. But you know what? They make a difference. They make a difference. These are the accessibility. And I want to run a video for you, and it will make your day to understand how these certificates make a difference. Volume.
Taco Bell in Guatemala currently has 54 stores. We've been growing exponentially. We have millions of transactions in our servers in the cloud. Otto was the one that showed us this perfect tool for us to manage all this information.
Guatemala is very competitive in the hotel business, and Otto developed a dashboard in Power BI where we could see all the rates that we were publishing and compare them with our competition.
The telecommunications business is always changing, so you need to be able to analyze a lot of information in a small amount of time. Working with Otto has been an amazing experience. He has no limitations, and he has been helping us quite a lot.
Otto was very important in Guatemala because he managed all the implementation of the system of the ATMs, and he introduced business intelligence for the industry in the banking. 20 years ago, he was diagnosed with ALS, that was Lou Gehrig disease.
I could not imagine doing nothing, so I became a data analyst, helping local businesses put in place strategies around data. I had learned to use my feet to operate a foot mouse so I could type with the on-screen keyboard.
I'm a Windows insider, and Windows 10 came with an eye tracking feature, and I think it was amazing. This is a very good feature for people that has challenge with mouse or keyboards. After that, I made some posts in my blog and auto-read it. This is the moment that starts all the history.
It would not be polite to tell you what I yelled when I read Juan Manuel's blog post. I immediately contacted him and said that I wanted to try it.
It's very easy to implement because it's immersed in Windows. You can work with all the applications that you run in Windows. Office, Notepad, Power BI, even WhatsApp web, only with eye tracking. The productivity of Otto rise with eye tracking, and the interaction was very fluid and very easy.
I can type faster now, as if I had my own hands back, after many years of not having the mobility to type on a regular keyboard. I became independent and can interact directly with clients when I have questions or need to explain something. I can also communicate with my loved ones much better.
This feature of eye tracking is a very good example for the mission of Microsoft, that is build software for better life in the persons.
I was given 2 to 5 years to live, and 20 years have gone by. If life gives you lemons, make lemonade. Even with a terminal disease, you can still do things with a positive attitude. My top goal is to become the oldest MVP for Microsoft.
So I'd like to thank you very much for this time. It was a pleasure meeting you and learning from you and interacting with you. This is for me and the whole Power BI team. Thank you.